he will present a challenge for any defense, including Clemson's tonight.
Clemson has won the toss. They defer, so Louisville will receive the opening kickoff in front of the home fans on a cool night here in Louisville. Great to have you with us. Prime time in the ACC. E.T. Potter about to kick it off. Hassan Hall standing back at the 5-yard line, and we are underway tonight here at Cardinal Stadium. And on a touchback, it'll come out to the 25 as we toss it down and say hello to Kelsey.
Well, guys, this Louisville offense goes as Malik Cunningham goes, and he took some hits last week against NC State and struggled some, but their head coach, Scott Satterfield, said he continued to stay engaged and lead this team. It's really been an area of emphasis for him this season to make sure his guys believe in him and trust in what he's doing. As head coach said, when you have guys around you that you make better, that's a big deal. These guys want to play for Malik Cunningham. He says that's definitely something special.
Already the number 2 all-time rushing quarterback at Louisville. Had an up-and-down game last weekend against NC State. Big win for the Wolfpack today. He's going to fire it. And on first down, a completed pass. Got that one to Justin Marshall for 7 yards right out of the gate.
And I think things like that are really helpful to Cunningham. We talk about him as a runner, but some of these quick game throws with off coverage, as you saw to Marshall there, I think when he gets into a rhythm, and gets comfortable as a passer, he ends up being extremely efficient.
Well, he has 3 good running backs. Jalen Mitchell, we've already seen Hassan Hall and Travion Cooley. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket on the move. And outside, he steps out of bounds and picks up the first down. Good pressure there by Tyler Davis for Clemson. Great to see him back. He was hurt early. Davis, the 6'2", 300-pound junior out of Florida. And as mentioned, they are getting healthier. People need to know that in the ACC.
Yeah, still banged up on that D-line, but you're right, getting healthier, Dave. And Tyler Davis, they describe as a quiet worker. I know that they're thrilled to see him back in the lineup.
So 1st and 10. And Cunningham once again will hand off, but Clemson sees this one coming. It was Trenton Simpson with the stop, and they're going to lose 2 yards on that play and bring up 2nd down and 12.
Well, Trenton Simpson's a guy I think has shown up more and more. When we talk about Clemson linebackers, I think we focus so much on James Skalski, and rightfully so, because he's been such a productive player. But Simpson in his own right, I think, has had a pretty good season.
The primary target in terms of wide receivers for Cunningham certainly been Watkins, number 1, but he's going to take off and run with it, take it himself, and pounds into a bunch of white and orange. Skalski there with the stop. And a gain of 8 yards. Tigers coming in at 5-3, 4-2 in the ACC, and a victory over FSU last Saturday. Very much in the hunt for another ACC championship. The only conference game left for Clemson after tonight is Wake Forest on November 20 at Death Valley. I'm sure by now most of our viewers are aware that Wake finally lost today in an absolute shootout. North Carolina, a wild game, thoroughly expected. A lot like last year's meeting. Cunningham back to throw, goes short, and gets the pass there to Watkins. Watkins trying to break free. A flag is down as he's going to be wrestled shy of the 40-yard line. But a flag dropped. It went for 17. But a flag on the play. Just getting started here at Louisville.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 24, 15-yard penalty, and an automatic. First down.
That goes against the strong safety, Nolan Turner.
And this is a really nice job by Malik Cunningham. Look at the pressure in the pocket here that he gets from Simpson. Just an excellent job of standing in the pocket, delivering an accurate throw, which allows Watkins to have some run after the catch. I think we've seen a couple of really nice things from Cunningham so far. A scramble, a designed run. We've seen him hit a throw on a free access, coverage on the outside. Done a nice job.
Last weekend, he tossed a 76-yarder to his wide receiver target Watkins. Off to the races, all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. 26 yards, Jalen Mitchell. And a quick strike here for the Cardinals tonight.
Dave, quick strike is right, and Mitchell saw it. It's just a zone blocking scheme, and it ends up being a wave of defenders getting pushed to the right, foot in the ground for Jalen Mitchell, gets north and south, and just splits that Clemson defense.
So James Turner on for the point after. And the Cardinals wasting absolutely no time on their opening drive. And some huge chunks there as Turner hits it to make it 7-0 by Jalen Mitchell.
Really impressive drive all the way around when you look at it, Dave. I mean, you kind of had a bit of everything. Some good Cunningham from in the pocket, some good Cunningham design runs on a scramble, and then an excellent job of blocking. But really, that's what created the run. I mean, it was an excellent job up front.
Shipley to return. Gets across the 20-yard line and powers up to the 25. Uiagalelei, the quarterback, about to take over. And Dabo Swinney said this week he is on the backside of the storm. He said it was good for him to sit some against Pittsburgh. He came back and he played well, but he has more interceptions, Tim, than touchdown passes through 8 games.
Yeah, which nobody could have projected after seeing him play last year and what the expectations have been for Clemson. It has been a struggle. There have been some, highlight moments, Dave, but there have been plenty of lowlights as well.
First down and 10. Pace will get the very first carry, and he powers his way to a first down. He missed the FSU game last week. He was in COVID-19 protocol, the latest blow to their running back core. A couple of men entering the transfer portal, of course. That was J. Dixon and Michael Dukes, and Shipley missed a couple of games with injury, but Pace coming back from last week, missing that game, and rips that one off for 12. And the reception made here on the near sideline, a catch by Ngata.
Listen, it's Joseph Ngata just running a fade, and it's thrown to the back shoulder, and that's actually a throw. When you think about some of the growth we've seen in DJ Uiagalelei, it's been the back shoulder throw, and I think getting Joseph Ngata healthy and consistently out there is going to help the quarterback play better.
Back to throw again on 1st and 10. Lots of time. Throwing deep. Has a man wide open. And a touchdown. Beaux Collins. And a fast answer, I should say so, by the Clemson Tigers.
And here come the big plays from the Clemson offense that we haven't seen from them really all season long. And it's Beaux Collins on a post route. And it is wide open because there's an inside route that takes the deep safety coverage. And that was about as easy as it could be for the Clemson Tigers.
46 yards for the score to tie it up in a heartbeat after this extra point. Should Potter drill this? This is already feeling like Wake in North Carolina earlier today. 11 minutes to go here in the first time, 7-7.
But basically, here's what happens. They're going to end up running to the post here. That's going to bring this safety, and then you got a deep post in behind it. And that deep post is where DJ ends up going with the football. You see the inside safety running with the deep over, and the deep post is just wide open, and that's tough coverage for Chandler Jones. No inside help with playing outside leverage. It's a well-designed play by Tony Elliott, seen perfectly by DJ Uiagalelei, and really thrown perfectly as well.
All of 3 plays, 75 yards, and a 7-7 game. So these two throwing haymakers at each other right out of the chute.
Yeah, and there have been some big plays given up by the Louisville defense. Defensively, and Dabo Swinney told us as much, defensively, Clemson has kind of had a championship type performance out of his defense and his special teams. So it hasn't exactly been easy to score on the Clemson Tigers.
Cardinals at 4-4, 2-3 in the ACC. We talked about the loss last week against NC State, but they actually outgained the Wolfpack in that one, 434 to 361. A lot of that on the ground.
Dave, maybe these guys were sitting around watching Wake Forest, North Carolina this afternoon and said, all right, let's go do that.
That looks like fun.
Well, listen, that's what I was thinking as I was watching it.
I bet you were. Any quarterback in the world would be, and those two can flat play. It was a highly entertaining game. If you love offense.
Yes. No one likes 10-7, 10-3 games. No
boring games like that, right? So 1st and 10 for Louisville. with the handoff. Once again, it's Mitchell. Louisville running for 331 yards against Boston College. They've had some huge games on the ground. They're 29th nationally in rushing yards per game at 202.8. Just picked off 1 yard there, so brings up 2nd down and 9. And Mitchell again in the backfield. A blazing start here tonight in Louisville, Kentucky. Cunningham wants to put it in the air, and it's batted up, and down it goes. A roll. The 6'4", 295-pounder got a hand on it.
And it's probably a good idea, good for Clemson that he did, because Cunningham is throwing a post down the middle. I think it's a pretty good shot that he has it, but Rowe does a good job as he's getting there, getting his hands up. And again, it's that front for Clemson that really gets everything going. They just create so much havoc. It kind of protects their back end at times when they're being aggressive in terms of bringing pressure. Good job there by the front.
3rd and 9. Here come the Tigers. Time to throw. Now he's going to step up, running through the line and drag down. And was he down? He's still up. He's headed for the sideline and finally pushed out. He landed on a body, and he picks up a 1st down. What a recovery there by Cunningham.
It is, but I think his head ends up touching the ground, which would mean that he's down. At first glance, I thought the same thing. It's actually an excellent job of blitz pickup by Mitchell. Watch his head, and then it looks like his right elbow as well.
So they are going to review it right here. And, even if it comes back several yards, it's a magnificent play.
Yes.
They're going to take a look, and we will go to a break. Was he down? Take a look.
Yeah, I mean, elbow down, I think shoulder down, head down. It did happen fast, and you said it earlier, just the remarkable athleticism of Cunningham also on display, even though he's down.
So 4th and 5, the Cardinals forced to punt. Mark Vassett, one of the biggest punters you're going to see anywhere from Australia, 6'4", 215 pounds. Brown will back up on that, rolls past the 30-yard line. And that is where the Tiger drive will begin, a 44-yard kick.
You go back and look at the opening drive, pretty impressive. Good run to start it off by Kobe Pace, and then the big shot down the field. Read beautifully, and then an excellent throw to Beaux Collins. So Clemson offensively, it's been a struggle at certain points during this season. So far, not tonight.
So 2nd series for the Tigers. DJ pretty average against FSU, 19 for 31, 189 yards, a touchdown and interception. And now he's going to keep it himself. And staying on the ground, the quarterback picks up 9.
Yeah, and this is something that he can do, and I think he's really good at doing. Now, you're going to have to be careful running your quarterback too much when he's also a passer, but at his size, he's not a speed player, but he's definitely somebody that can fall forward for you.
Gave him 10 and the 1st down. Shipley with the carry. Dragged down by the Cardinals and C.J. Avery. And look at the size difference between these guys.
And listen, we're comparing a quarterback with the front 7 of Louisville. Like, just to give you a sense of how big DJ Uiagalelei is, like, he's bigger than some of the guys, or as big as some of the guys that have their hand on the ground playing defensive line tonight across from him.
Wants to go airborne again, and a long throw is going to be broken up by the Cardinals. That was intended for Ross, and stopped by Chandler Jones. Here's the end of that play.
It's an excellent job of Chandler Jones. It's hard to defend back shoulder throws down the field. Chandler Jones does an excellent job of getting his right hand in there to rake the football out.
A lot of contact.
It was a lot of contact, but I think, listen, as much as I like to see it, kind of favor the offense at times, I think it's a good play by the defensive back.
3rd down 9. Uiagalelei looking short over the middle. And a big stick on that play. The Cardinals with another stop. That was Duncan, the free safety, coming up and saying hello.
It's kind of an interesting play. with Trotter, they're trying to block Duncan on this little angle from Shipley. And if Trotter can get there and block him, excuse me, it's not Trotter, it's McFadden. They're trying to pick off the guy that's covering him in man-to-man coverage. And if he's able to get there in time, it could end up being a big play. It's a good defensive stop, though, by Duncan.
Hawkins lets it bounce, winds up bouncing behind him. A 54-yard punt. So 8:17 to go here in the first, and tied 7-7. ACC championships coming up. Field hockey championship tomorrow at noon. Men's soccer quarterfinals, followed by the soccer semifinals on Wednesday, 5 and 7, right here on ACC Network. So Louisville back with it, and on the run, Trayon Coley with a nice gain off to the left side. He's going to pick up about 9 yards on that carry with the stop by Nolan Turner. Second down, and Cunningham to roll. Then flushed out of the pocket, high stepping out and into the bench. Took a pretty good hit. And he's going to fight on 13 yards. Could this be a late hit?
I think that it really could be. I mean, I guess he hadn't touched out of bounds before Turner hit him. You know, oftentimes, you know, the runner gets afforded kind of the understanding that he's headed out of bounds. I'm a little bit surprised with how it looked that it wasn't called. Typically, I feel like you see a flag thrown on that.
Cooley with the handoff, a little bit of a hole, but they closed pretty quickly on him, and he'll pick up 5 yards.
I'll tell you what, Louisville right now is moving this Clemson front. You know, they've run this stretch lead zone. It's something that they believe in. They coach well. They recruit players that can play in this system well. And they are pushing the Clemson front around. That's why we've seen some of the keeper work. That's why we've seen some of these runs work.
Second down 5. So far 68 yards on the ground. And no surprise they've been successful there, but a slip here by Cunningham as he goes down. Trying to follow his blockers, but he picks up nothing on the play, loses 5.
Yeah, and I think he misses the handoff. You know, they're running kind of an outside zone. It's a bad snap. They're kind of low and away, and like I said, it's this wide zone. It's this wide stretch lead zone that they run, and so when that happens, it's hard for the quarterback to get to the path of the back, which is a wide one, as he's trying to stretch it.
3rd and long here for the Cardinals. And a whistle here with 6:10 to go.
Clemson.
And Clemson will take a timeout. They take their first. Dabo Swinney back with more. And the Cardinals. And it'll be the Cardinals facing a long one here, Tim. 3rd down and 11.
And these known passing situations, I think, are where Scott Satterfield wants to calm his quarterback down a little bit, make sure he's got a clean pocket. He's usually good in those scenarios.
Put the tight end forward in motion. He catches a lot of passes in this offense. That's off his fingertips and out of bounds. So Cunningham rifling that one incomplete, and they are forced to punt.
It's not a perfect throw by Cunningham, and it's a play that Ford has made a lot of this season, and it's kind of a good example. Clemson showed a double mug look. It's good pass protection. The back does a good job of help cleaning it up, and a bit of a misfire, and probably a ball that Ford thinks that he can make.
Down back, he wants to take it out of there, slips one tackle. And a punt traveling 45 yards and a return of 4. Clemson right now at 5-3, 4-2 in the conference as we check out the Atlantic contenders now. Remember that today's Wake Forest defeat, their first of the season, was not a conference loss, does not count in the ACC.
So basically doesn't help Clemson. And, you know, Clemson does have a path, and It's not a crazy one. Obviously, they need to take care of their own business, but also going to need help from some others.
Well, the other freshman, Phil Maffa, in at the running back. EJ off to that left side, and he will tiptoe out. Chased up by Greedy Vance, but he will pick up a first down.
And just to get a sense of DJ Uiagalelei's athleticism, he's listed at 250. He probably weighs a little bit more than 250, and he just made an incredible move in the hole where I don't think he would have been down in flag football.
He's bigger than all the linebackers, certainly for Louisville, that are on the field. And he matches up with everybody on the front line. He's bigger than a lot of those guys, too. Trying to scamper out of there, and he's going to be taken down, sacked on the play by C.J. Avery. He was trying to lead the Ville in tackles for third year in a row, the fifth-year senior.
So here's Avery. He's going to end up coming around and running down DJ Uiagalelei. So basically what happens is, see that pump? They're trying to fake a wide receiver screen and get a shot down the field. It isn't there, and then when he's stuck holding the football, that allows Avery, who's an excellent player, to kind of read it, shoot his gun, and get to the quarterback.
Second down, 17 for Clemson. Good pocket protection, zips that one to Collins. And we'll bring up third down here for the Tigers. Gain of 6 on that play.
Clemson's offense is an offense, you see the 3 and outs on 35% of their possessions, and where that ranks in college football, it's the worst in the ACC. It's just not something you would expect to see from a group of guys that's so talented. But it's been a struggle staying on the field. The sack, which leads to a 3rd and long, obviously doesn't help those situations.
3 wideouts to the left here for Clemson. Uiagalelei throws again, rifles that one too high. There's no denying he has one of the strongest arms in all of college football. Sometimes a little too strong.
Yeah, and he's just trying to force this into a window that's really not there. Chandler Jones is the corner playing outside. They run a defender out underneath, and then you have C.J. Avery kind of sitting in that second window. I think that he should have worked the other direction. You basically have a 3-on-1 into the boundary. That's where he goes with the football. I think working through the field would have been a better idea.
It's at the 20. We'll back up. Racing toward the near side. Out he goes into his own bench. So a 43-yard punt and just a 4-yard return. We're tied 7-7 here in the first quarter. And so Cunningham back out there. Tim, quickly, your thoughts on college football and the playoffs expanding to maybe 8, maybe as many as 12 under discussion right now?
Well, I think this year has kind of maybe bolstered some of the idea of a bigger group because of all these teams at the top losing. I think ultimately there are a lot of factors. I want to be against it expanding. That being said, I think that it's worked out fairly well so far.
This, by the way, was the first time in the history of the playoff rankings that Clemson has not been included in the top 25. A completed pass to Ford. It was a great story. He's the #1 pass catcher in their offense. Local kid, the former walk-on, and one of the top tight ends in the ACC.
And I loved hearing Scott Satterfield, talk about, well, he was here when we got here. He was a walk-on, and when we started practicing, I was like, who is this guy? I really like this guy. We have a spot for him, and not long after that, he's on scholarship. They love him as a player, and he's excellent.
3rd down 4. Cunningham wants to throw, has to move those feet, and fire that one low and incomplete.
And again, it's an example of the front creating the trouble. It's just an excellent job of winning up front by Xavier Thomas, #3, and as he gets free, Cunningham basically does his best not to take a sack and has to escape and get the ball out.
So after a hot start by both offenses, they have cooled pretty quickly. That'll be Will Brown and Bassett to punt again on 4th down and 4 for the Cardinals. Brown standing at his 35-yard line. And mishandled it, and it's booted around. Flags are down, and the Cardinals jumping on the football. But flags dropped with 2:30 to go here in the first. Marvin Dallas recovering it. But no hesitation on the flags on the mishandled punt.
Well, Dave, I think what they're going to say is that Will Brown was interfered with as he's trying to catch his football. He has the right to catch the football. Now, what the Louisville sideline is saying is that the player covering the punt was pushed in the back into Will Brown. And if that's the case, then I think the officials are talking about maybe picking this flag up.
Well, this is one livid Dabo Sweeney. Not the first time in this quarter that he's been upset about something. And it's a long conference here. Take a look at the play as it unfolds with Will Brown lining up.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that, at least I feel like, we're a little late on it there, you know, the contact, but
a long conversation.
Catch interference. There was illegal block in the back by the receiving team that blocked the player into the kicker. Penalties declined. First down.
yeah, and so that's what happened. It's in Louisville yelling about it on the sideline, and they're right. It was actually a shove in the back. No, so here we go. So there ends up being a block in the back here on this Louisville player that's covering the punt, which then forces the contact to the returner. And then obviously, you know, the ball is loose after that, and that's a nice job of the officials. Obviously, clear block in the back, and then a clear recovery, and a huge break for Louisville.
And 1st and 10. And we'll stay on the ground here. And Jalen Mitchell with the carry with a stop by Balin Spector. 2nd down coming up here for the Cardinals to see if they can turn this break into some points in a 7-7 game. Coming up in the last couple of minutes of the first quarter.
And I think their plan so far, even though they were bogged down in that previous drive, they've got a good plan so far. They have been able to get movement in the run game. I think sticking with it is a good idea.
Cunningham throwing short, dumps it off for Watkins. The bounce he goes, chased out by Skalski, and they're going to gain 4 there. Bring up 3rd down and 5. Clemson 6-0 all-time against Louisville. Won the last meeting with the Ville in 2019 right here, 45-10. Travis Etienne rushing for 192 yards. Trevor Lawrence tossing 3 touchdowns in a blowout win. Cunningham going to keep it across the 20. Finds an opening, heading for the end zone. Touchdown! 23 yards. Cunningham for 6. And a scintillating run.
You see how dangerous he can be with the ball in his hand. Scott Satterfield said he is an elite runner. And you see it there, the speed. I mean, people have started to, at times, say, well, he reminds me of a quarterback I've seen before that has played in this stadium. You know, the Lamar Jackson kind of whispers when you see him take off and run like that.
Right, on plays like that, that's certainly true.
It's what it looks like.
Turner on for the extra point. And he's got it. Well, that's a special run because he was pretty much untouched.
Yeah, and basically, this is triple option. They're going to motion into the backfield. That's going to be the pitch man. So after the fake, we're running here. And then option off of the force player. So that's the dive version of it. Now you got quarterback or pitch. And as you see Makuba, the safety, attack the pitch man, well, then you've just left the football in a very dangerous player's hands, and that's Malik Cunningham in for the score.
Nobody laid a glove on him. And so the Cardinals back for another score and on top 14-7. And so early on making noises like this is going to be a very different game than 2019 when we talked about when Clemson sailed to a win.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like we're going to have that type of game, and it really is incredible that if you think about this, Dave, it's a 3rd and 5. They just run the option. That's option football on 3rd and 5, and I think it's one of the things that I know is interesting. When preparing for these Louisville games, the creativity on offense by Scott Satterfield is certainly there.
What an unusual kick to drop and then take a backward hop like that. And Drew Sweeney was the man who hauled it in and advanced it. Take a look at this bounce.
Well, just such a unique bounce on a kickoff. Normally those go out of bounds, and Shipley's there. I mean, that ends up being a fantastic play for Louisville.
So 1st and 10. Uiagalelei with the handoff, and they're going to run it right into the pile into the center there. And the stop by Diaby and a 2-yard pickup. Pace again getting active here early in this one, closing seconds of the first quarter.
And Dave, we've talked about Clemson running the football better. We saw it a week ago. This Louisville front against North Carolina State really hung in there in the run game, and for the most part they've been doing that so far tonight.
2nd down 8. Nothing doing there. Uiagalelei goes down. Abdullah all over him for 5-yard loss.
Well, it ends up being a 5-yard loss because they end up bringing pressures. They're coming from the side, and then they end up getting a bust up front. You see it. It ends up being an RPO. They're blocking a run, and because of the pressure, there's confusion about who to block, and you're stuck holding the football, and you see Abdullah right there to make the play.
Final seconds of the first quarter, 3rd down and 13. And the clock will go to zeros. And that is the end of the first. And Louisville with a lot of momentum thanks to their quarterback. Malik added the points immediately. Drive starting from the 28-yard line on 3rd and long. Keeping that one on the ground, and the stop by Duncan on the quarterback keeper. A 4-yard gain, so that'll force the punting unit on again.
That's a really surprising call for me. I mean, 3rd and 10 plus, and you run what looked like a zone read, and you're doing that with a quarterback that's got a huge arm. Receivers like Justin Ross and Joseph Ngata. That was surprising.
Very high punt. Watkins with a fair catch. Decent field position here after a 45-yard kick.
And the turning point so far, Dave, you were describing it. That muff punt, which was a block in the back, led the ground, muffing that punt, which gave Louisville the ball with excellent field position. And Malik Cunningham able to run it in on the option. Been impressed so far with Louisville, and you think about kind of a disappointing loss a week ago to come out playing as well as they've played so far.
So Cunningham back at it. And a big gainer here off that right side by Cooley. Uiagalelei Cooley finally stopped by Andrew Booth, but not before he picks up 13 and a 1st down.
And again, it's Louisville pushing the front around. Talking to Scott Satterfield, he was saying, look, the defensive line for Clemson is where it all begins. They just create so much disruption And, you know, there's always some uncertainty of how your guys will match up in the run game against them. And so far tonight, feels like Louisville's having their way.
It's Cooley again. Couldn't get the corner there as he is tied up by Simpson, and Skalskis go down to Kelsey Riggs.
Well, guys, I got to talk to Malik a few times over the last few weeks, and he said one of the things he's really working on is trying to give his receivers a chance and trusting his offensive line. He said they've been doing a great job, probably because he's been taking them out as a part of the new NIL on Thursdays before home games. Gets to take them out to a steak and lobster dinner. He says, guys, who do you think eats the most and orders the most? He made me guess. I don't know if I should do that to you guys.
I want to hear it. No question, 2nd down and 10. Cunningham will rifle that one and broken up. Brings up 3rd down and 10. So what is it, Kels?
So, guys, I just strictly went by the weights of the offensive linemen. So I guessed Adonis Boone. I was not right. It's actually Cole Bentley. He says every week, Cole's like, okay, Malik, what are you getting? He gets the same thing every week. And then Cole adds on a few extra sides and a dessert each week. So he says, really, it's been a great experience for these guys to continue to build some chemistry outside of what they're doing on the football field, and says he loves these guys. They're like my little brothers, except for they're actually a lot bigger than me. Don't tell guys who eats the most on our team.
And getting bigger, apparently, thanks to steak and lobster. Plenty of time here for Cunningham to throw, and complete. And good arm there to connect with Watkins. Now, Louisville needed someone to step up after losing talented receivers in Tutu Atwell and Des Fitzpatrick, and the Louisville native has been very good in stepping up.
Yeah, he has been good, and I think that the feeding the offensive line has certainly helped, because did you see how much room Cunningham had in the pocket right there? It was just remarkable. Excellent protection, and when it's clean, you see how good Cunningham can be. And you're right, Watkins open there, and you know, good, just kind of solid player with great awareness.
Yeah, well fed means well protected. No room to run that time for Cooley, as Andrew Booth will stop him and chopped him down, and a man is down now for Clemson.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
And official timeout as well. That means we will take the break. Tent, and he's a very serious NFL prospect.
He's an excellent player and Clemson's best corner, and you see Mel Kiper's got him as the number 22 overall prospect, and it's a big loss for Clemson defensively.
So we'll see if Booth can return. 2nd down and 11. Cunningham to keep it. Finds a bit of an opening as he is wrestled down by Skalski. He's going to pick up 8 yards on that carry.
And again, because they're getting movement up front with the offensive line, Simpson, you know, he's kind of stuck in space. Do I take the back? Do I go for the quarterback? And then just the speed to get outside R.J. Mickens, who really is the next defender in place, but Cunningham able to turn the corner.
So he continues to be a thorn in the side. He's got Cooley lined up behind him, another talented freshman running back, true freshman. Snap for Cunningham. He's going to scamper again. And will dive short of the 25-yard line. And picks up 2 yards. And that'll bring up a 4th down. Cunningham a little bit gimpy there. Beaten up pretty good against the Wolfpack last weekend. 4th down and 2. So the kicker Turner trying to add to the Cardinal lead. This would be from 44 yards on this attempt. Turner, sophomore, and lays into this one, and very strong. He connects for the field goal. We make it 17-7. The Louisville Cardinals at 4-4, trying to knock off Clemson for the first time in their history. Uiagalelei now, the 6'4", 250-pound quarterback.
Yeah, and I think, Dave, you know, with DJ, you know, it's about kind of responding, and it think about some of the struggles. At times, he's been really good. Here's a back shoulder throw in the end zone a week ago. Excellent, perfectly placed. Same thing here on the back shoulder throw to Justin Ross. But it's throws like this, the layups. Will Shipley, then you got a tight end wide open underneath. I mean, throw it into the frame of your receiver's body on the easy ones and let him run after the catch. And tonight we've kind of seen more of the same. At times wildly inaccurate, and then at other times, you know, the ability to place a back shoulder throw 23 yards down the field to the sideline, able to do it with ease. And so I just think it's just, that's been kind of the story for the Clemson offense, the inconsistency in the passing game. And I think so much of it has revolved around the quarterback missing some easy throws.
What we've seen so far tonight is kind of a microcosm of the season for DJ. And that first drive, it was a lightning bolt, 75 yards, 3 plays. They're in the end zone. Since then, only 19 yards on 11 plays.
That's exactly it. The good plays are as good as any good plays that you see in college football. But the gimmies, the layups, oftentimes are missed. And look, I think some of it has been the struggles up front have gotten to him. But either way, it's been a problem for this team offensively.
Shipley straight ahead. Really emerging as a terror. 128 yards against Florida State. That was his first 100-yard career game. That goes for 6. Second down and 4.
You know, and Shipley's a guy, they feel like gets stronger as the game goes along. What's interesting is that kind of played Maffa and pace a little bit more early in this game.
Shipley again has not been used that much to this point in the game. He will pick up a first. They'll move the sticks. And a stop by Cole. Louisville not only attempting to beat Clemson for the first time, they're attempting to beat a team that is 28-4 in their last 32 true road games in the Tigers. First and 10. Going to move those feet, kind of chased out of the pocket. He'll fling that one intended for Ross.
Pass from DJ Uiagalelei.
Good pressure there by Puryear. A little bit of a limp there maybe out of DJ.
You know, I thought I saw a little bit of a limp, you know, on that Shipley run early. Yeah, he's hurt. There's no doubt about it. You saw him limping earlier, and then as he tried to escape, I thought, you know, I was surprised he didn't run, and you see, now he's split out wide. Tyson Pumachan is in the lineup.
So the backup quarterback will keep it. He will run it out to the 50-yard line, busting free across the 40-yard line for a huge carry. Stopped by C.J. Avery, a 26-yard run. Uiagalelei does limp off now.
Yeah, and Tyson Pumachan, much more of a runner than a passer. They run a zone read with him. DJ was on the field for it. It was almost like there was some uncertainty for Pumachan. It's like, hey, am I staying in the game? But yes, you are, because the starter is injured.
So Pumachan taking over. He did in the Pitt game as well for a time. Shipley trying to slash inside, but he is stopped. Freer again. And into the tent, DJ goes. And of course, we've already seen a key defender, Andrew Booth, go into that tent earlier. Pumachan out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, 6'3", 225 pounds.
And a really interesting player, interesting story. Tore his Achilles in spring practice, and so it was kind of a remarkable recovery to have him ready at the beginning of the season. He was able to make that comeback.
He has the keys intended for Ngata, but incomplete to bring up 3rd down and 10.
And here's the deal. Pumachan's not the thrower that DJ is. DJ's a really talented thrower. Tyson Pumachan is not. It's not a smooth motion. He is a runner first. There's no question about it. And so, I think finding ways to get him easy, simple completions is going to be necessary for them to get things going in the passing game. They're going to have to rely much more on him as a runner, as well as their traditional run game with their backs.
And on 3rd and 10, facing a key test right now. Uiagalelei trying to get out of there. Can't as he gets taken down. Louisville with a big stop. Diaby takes him down. They lose 3 yards there, bring up 4th down and 13.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about Tyson Pumachan. Like, just look at his eyes. I mean, his eyes, as soon as he hits the top of his drop, come down, and he starts looking for a running lane.
Flag down 2.
Holding. Defense. Number 21. 10-yard penalty results in a first down.
The penalties were such a thorn in their side last week.
Yeah, you see this right here. That's Grady Vance Jr. and he grabs onto him at the top of the route there. That's Beaux Collins. So that Collins, you don't need to do it. I'm telling you, if I'm coaching the secondary of Louisville, I'm saying let's make this guy prove that he can complete passes before we start getting handsy in the secondary. But you're right, Dave. Penalties for Louisville, a huge issue a week ago.
Another one here that gets a first down for the Tigers. Pumachan with the carry. Off to that left side. He'll pick up 6 yards. Cardinals down in front 17-7. They lost a pair of really tough ones back to back in October. 37-34 at Wake Forest. And by 1 point here to Virginia, 34-33, but trying to bounce back after a loss last weekend in Raleigh. 2nd down 5. Pumachan taking over at the quarterback. Into the center of the line. They will run it again with Shipley. He's stacked up. C.J. Avery, first man to meet him. And they gain 1 yard.
Yeah, and if you think about what we've seen now, we've seen 4 zone reads with Pumachan in the lineup at quarterback. And so there's a change, you know, for Tony Elliott, who you see there on the right side of your screen, of how you're going to have to call this football game with the change of quarterback. Kind of already seen it with what they've done with their run game.
3rd down 4. Shipley moving outside. Pumachan keeps trying to hesitate a little bit, and again stopped in the middle. The good news for Tony Elliott is, well, both he and Dabo Swinney told us this week that right now they feel that Clemson is running the football better than some of their championship teams.
Yeah, and probably because they're running it more. And, you know, I don't know that it's totally fair to say when you think about what Travis Etienne did,
right,
you know, running the football. But, yeah, they have kind of tilted the direction of their offense towards running the football. And tonight, I think that is only going to be accentuated with the fact that they now have their backup in at the quarterback position. He's much more of a runner.
Potter from 38 yards and good. So the Tigers back on the board, 17-10.
Yeah, and it's a big one for Clemson. How they
inside that tent. Obviously a leg injury of some kind. We're not going to speculate on what it was. When we find out, we'll certainly pass that along to you immediately. As Kelsey Riggs is efforting to find out. Tigers just kicked a field goal from 38 yards. And here's Hassan Hall taking this one across the 20-yard line. On the return for the Cardinals, a return of 22.
You know, I think the way Louisville's got to feel about this right now is pretty good offensively to play the way they did so far this half, the way they've run the football, the way the quarterback has run the ball, and then you think about how the defense has responded and the fact that Clemson is now looks like they may be forced to play with their backup quarterback.
Now Louisville closing in on bowl eligibility. After tonight, they have Syracuse, Duke, and Kentucky remaining. Right now with a 4-4 record. Cunningham, good time to throw, but incomplete. And he wanted Watkins on the near sideline, covered by Goodrich, though, and incomplete.
Yeah, it was good coverage by Goodrich. Actually, Cunningham looks to Watkins originally, looked to a post that he didn't like, came off of it, and you know, ended up going back to Watkins, and it was a nice job of staying with his man, Mario Goodrich.
So it brings up 2nd down 10. Under 5.5 minutes to go here. Before halftime, Watkins on the move. He's going to keep it. Cunningham upended, but picks up the first down. Just so dangerous keeping the football. R.J. Mickens eventually upending him, but that's a 17-yard gain.
You see how dangerous he is. It's another option. You know, they motion into the backfield. Doesn't like it. Cuts it up. And again, keep making these comparisons, but that's what it looks like right now when you watch the Baltimore, Ravens play. Cunningham is comfortable running it inside. He's definitely excellent running the football outside. He's a great scrambler. And you see the headache that he creates for defenses.
Mitchell with the carry this time.
Hand off to Jalen Mitchell.
The ground attack so good for this team when they really get it rolling. Mickens again with the tackle. And on top 17-10. And DJ now out of the tent. Good sign there. And off again will be Mitchell, Jalen Mitchell. Another freshman with outstanding skills. Miles Murphy will wrap him up. And we're going to find out very soon if he's going to be able to continue to play. And now he's got a brace on that knee, Tim.
He's got a brace on his right knee. Now he looks pretty good running there. Certainly looks better running there than he did when he was moving on the field prior to limping off.
3rd and 8. Cunningham wants to go airborne this time and complete. He hits his tight end. Marshawn Ford with the catch came in with 33 receptions, #1 on the team. This goes for 13.
Well, we talked about him earlier. At one point when we were talking with Scott Satterfield, he referenced Marshawn Ford as playing some wide receiver because that's how they can use him as a tight end who's an excellent blocker, who can be an inline tight end, a move tight end, and then they detach him from the formation like they do there. Runs a nice route, and Cunningham finds his favorite target.
And moving the chains. Heading off is Mitchell, who's been the workhorse so far in the first half for the Cardinals. Simpson with the tackle as we toss it down to Kelsey.
Well, guys, our Geico player spotlight is Marshawn Ford, and you touched on it a little bit earlier, how he's a hometown kid, grew up right here in Louisville, actually used to come to these games as a kid, and he says he really cherishes the moments afterwards when he gets to hang out with some of the fans, because he was one of those fans, came here as a walk-on and really earned his spot on this team, earned a scholarship under the new coaching staff, and now one of the big leaders on this team. He says it means so much to him to be a part of this program.
That's a young man who was pretty much an afterthought initially. He's become a star for them. Cunningham can't get free, and he will flip that one out. And chased down by Simpson, who's having an outstanding second quarter. The flag is dropped. So a flag in the play, 2:31 to go in the half.
Yeah, this is going to be intentional grounding because the ball doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. And it's
Intentional grounding, number 3, offense. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss him down. 3rd down.
So he's trying to escape outside the pocket, and Simpson does a good job of tracking him down and getting a hold of him. And then Cunningham trying to do the right thing by throwing the football away, just can't get it far enough upfield.
Cunningham out of Montgomery, Alabama, junior now.
So this is an interesting situation here. 2.5 minutes left. If I'm Louisville, I maybe run the football here. Either make Clemson take a timeout or just use some clock.
He's going to throw instead right over the middle. And that one complete to Hassan Hall for 7. And 4th down.
Yeah, on 3rd and forever, like forever. Now it's 4th and 14. You're going to end up punting anyway. And I'm saying, the clock, you want to run as much of this clock down as possible before you end up punting the football. You hope that you can pin Clemson back. And if you can, then you obviously make it a much tougher scenario for Clemson to have any type of momentum going into halftime.
Clock running under 150. So on 4th down and 14.
Play of game.
And I will say I'm a little bit surprised.
Delay of game. Offense. The penalties decline. 4th down.
A little bit surprised that
The clock will start on the snap.
that Clemson did decide to start taking some timeouts. You know, and especially if DJ is going to be good enough to go back in. You know, we were well outside 2 minutes.
Yep, Tigers with 2 left.
That's why I was saying, hey, run the football. If you're Louisville, make sure that you force Clemson to take one of those timeouts.
Clemson, by the way, will get the football to start the second half. So Bassett to punt. And Brown, a fair catch. 1:33 to go. DJ coming back on. 36-yard.
Back with a knee brace and leads a 2-minute drive where he makes a couple of really nice throws like that one to Ross, and then obviously the touchdown to Allen to get them on the board before the half and ultimately go into halftime with the ball game tied up.
So the brace still on, but moving very effectively after he came out of the tent finally. 1 turnover the first half. It was a big one. It led Louisville to a touchdown after the muff punt by Clemson. They don't make many mistakes on special teams, but that was huge, and it's a 17-17 game. And very good news here for the Tigers. Will Shipley, who took a serious knock, he is back out there to begin the second half.
Yeah, it looked like, you know, when Jack Fagot was called for targeting, Shipley was the one that was hit on the play, and you know, it appeared that they were looking at him for a potential, you know, concussion, and to see him back is obviously good news for Clemson's offense.
And now the other true freshman, Phil Maffa, who's his roommate at the running back spot. And that one for Ross, Justin Ross, to get the second half underway. 5-yard gain for the Tigers to bring up 2nd down and 5. Opening drive of the second half here at Cardinal Stadium. Temperatures continue to plummet. Expected to be in the low 40s by the end of the evening. And staying on the ground with Maffa tied up by Abdullah. Now the plan was to redshirt the true freshman Phil Maffa, but injury and transfer changed that plan. And the Tiger coaches will tell you they believe he is going to be outstanding.
Well, you know, same age as Will Shipley, so it's interesting, but he's a big, powerful back, and I've been impressed with him when he's had his opportunity to get, you know, significant playing time, like I'm sure we'll see tonight.
3rd and 5. Uiagalelei backpedaling, pressure on him. Escapes, but can't escape everybody. He is dragged down for a 12-yard loss. And the tackle made by Dorian Jones with the sack. Got his first career start at NC State last week.
Yaya Diaby, who's coming from the right side, he creates that initial pressure, and then it's Dorian Jones who ends up finishing him off. But you see the speed up the field. Diaby, I think, is a really talented player. He's got great length, good speed and athleticism, and created that initial pressure that leads to the sack.
And a fair catch here by Watkins, and a moment ago Kelsey with Coach Satterfield.
Coach, offensively, you guys were able to find some great success running the ball against a really good defense. What do you need to do in the second half to continue that?
Well, we just got to continue to make our blocks. Our offensive line is doing a really good job. Backs are running hard. And Malik's been a big part of the running game as well. So we got to just keep doing what we did in the first half, running the ball. We got to do a little bit better to pass the game, try to find some shots down the field.
All year long, the emphasis has been the second half and the fourth quarter and finishing games. You have the opportunity to do it here at home. What did you tell your team?
Well, that's exactly what I told them. We've been here before. We've learned a lot about what to do and not to do. And let's take all that things that we learned in this and let's go win this football game in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Kelsey, of course, referencing those tough losses back-to-back in October as Cunningham scampers out of bounds. And there is a flag on the play. We mentioned the 37-34 loss at Wake.
Illegal formation. Illegal formation. More than 4 players in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And of course the other very painful one right here against Virginia. by 1 point, 34-33. And they led both the Wake Forest and Virginia games in the final 30 seconds.
I mean, so many of these games, and when you look at them, you say, and I know every team can play those what ifs and one play here and a made kick here and a missed kick there and all of that stuff. But the reality is yeah, they've been in a lot of these close games, just haven't been able to get it done. But if they, play that game, you can find this, have a very good feeling about this football team.
Cunningham gets away as he stepped up, almost got to the 50-yard line. Murphy denies him any more yardage there, but a 13-yard scamper.
Just to finish it up, I think that's one of the things about, you're a 500 football team, but could you be 6-2? Could you maybe even be 7-1? I think that ends up being some of the frustrating thing you have to fight as a coach. You just see Scott Satterfield's demeanor, talking to Kelsey. I think he's just got a nice presence about him to get his team to continue to play hard, even with some of those disappointments late in games.
Mitchell took a pretty good hit initially. That was Murphy again, a 1-yard gain. That's all he got there. So it'll be 3rd down and short for the Cardinals.
We've seen on some of these 3rd downs where, it's short enough that a run is still on the table. They've gone to the option. They'll motion a receiver into the backfield to be the pitch man. Got the opportunity to hand the ball off if you get the look you want from the front. Otherwise, you've got 2 speed players, your quarterback and a receiver as your runner and your pitch man.
Cunningham keeps. Big hole opens up. He darts down the left side. Still running, heading for the end zone. He scampers in. Touchdown, Cunningham. A 51-yard rush for the end zone. Tim, he has broken off a couple of beauties tonight, but this one tops them all.
The beautiful run, and I thought that he was going to end up going out of bounds. He was like, hey, this is going to be a nice pickup. And then just look at that. I believe that left foot is still in bounds. That right heel never goes down to the ground. His speed and ability to turn the corner is remarkable.
Oh, is he fun when he gets cranking?
And there's a block by Marshawn Ford, who I know we've talked about a fair amount tonight, that was absolutely outstanding and really created the opportunity for that to happen.
And Malik Cunningham finishes another one. Came in as the #2 all-time rushing quarterback here at Louisville. And he's been their star this evening as they strike very early here in the 3rd. And the extra point is good. 24-17.
Well, on a 3rd and 1, it was probably predictable that Cunningham was going to end up running with the football, and he did. And Marshawn Ford escorts him to the sideline.
In the second half, Louisville has taken the lead, and how about this? The first time they're leading Clemson in the second half since 2016.
It's incredible, and really been an awesome performance offensively by Louisville, and the defense has done a nice job of hanging in as well.
Shipley, room to operate across the 30, breaking free, down that left sideline to the 40, to the 30, and finally the hit to bring him down, but a tremendous run on the return here by Shipley.
Well, this is really well blocked. Shipley does an excellent job of just hitting it. I don't think he ends up getting touched until he's tackled way down the field. And then he tries to finish it as well. You see that? Just not sure that he was touched. You see why they're excited about him as well. The speed, the toughness, and as a returner and as a runner.
A little bit gimpy there. He was in the first half, but that one he rips off for 76 yards. And immediately the Tigers knocking on the door, trying to return the favor. And on a handoff, a crunch there by Maffa. He has a lot to handle. The 6'1", 225-pounder picks up a first down.
Yeah, and as they rely on their run game, and I would expect them with DJ, now in a knee brace, maybe not, going to call many runs for him. I think Maffa is the guy that they're going to use to pound the football.
So 1st and goal. 24-17 the Cardinals, but hold that thought. Here come the Tigers again. Uiagalelei, the handoff. It's Maffa again. As he got close to the 5, stopped by C.J. Avery. And stopped at the 6.
What's interesting is, you know, Clemson typically, when they would get inside the 10-yard line and you got man coverage outside with no help, they were throwing goal line fades to those receivers. And now, you know, here we go. Like, these were the opportunities in the past out here, throwing the goal line fades.
Mishandled, he scoops it up. He'll fire that one long to the back of the end zone, but incomplete. With Ross out in the corner.
And maybe we're going to it there. Had the snap been not been so poor.
Crowd trying to become a factor here in that end zone. 3rd and goal. Uiagalelei wants to throw it. Fires. And a diving play once again by the tight end Davis Allen. And complete to him, a 4-yard strike. And stopped short of the goal line. 4th and goal.
Well, and look, 4th and goal, I said earlier, you know, with the knee brace, I don't know if I'm running DJ. I am, you know, having him as a runner on the table here. We got Maffa in the backfield, it's 225 pounds. We got a 250-pound quarterback.
Maffa, he's denied. He did not get in. And a big-time stand for the Cardinals.
Big-time stand is right. They stop him. You just see it as we look down. You know, the goal line there, there's no movement. And that allows C.J. Avery and Dorian Jones to kind of get into the backfield, and that's a heck of a job by the defensive line. Malik Clark and Burrier and Diaby doing a good job of just kind of holding ground. You see Clark getting rewarded. He was on the center, and that's a heck of a job by the defense, the Louisville Cardinals.
And less than a yard to go. And the Tigers stopped. So Cunningham trying to get some operating room and darts that one to Watkins. So a little bit of breathing room there. That picks up 6.
But Dave, you say a little bit of breathing room, and you're right. It's not a big deal. A 6-yard pickup, but it feels different as a quarterback when your heels are not in your own end zone. You know, there's the fear of a lot of bad things that can happen. So that type of breathing room is a total game changer. And a lot of times you just want to get a 1st down and be able to flip the field.
Freshman back Cooley. And he's going to be stopped. Not much room to operate there. Met by Nolan Turner. He will gain 2. And a 3rd down. So out to the 10. Louisville on top, 24-17. Here into the 3rd quarter.
I think nearly every 3rd and 4 or less, we've seen some type of call that gave Cunningham the option to either get the ball to the runner or keep it if the read dictated so. And I don't know why this situation would be any different.
And flags down. And Clemson pointing at Louisville. Actually pointing at each other there for a while. With 8:02 to go in the 3rd. Of course, Cunningham's been a big star with 2 touchdown runs. And that is the right guard, Adonis Boone.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, here's Adonis Boone. Watch Skalski though. Skalski, like, I don't know why that's not on Clemson. I mean, Skalski, I believe, kind of headed forward.
Sure did.
into the neutral zone. Boone moved as a reaction. I'm not sure why the officials ruled it that way.
3rd down 6. Cooley again. And powering ahead. Very strong young back. And picks up a first.
That's a big time run by Cooley, and it's well blocked up front. Because, you know, we've talked a couple times, Dave, about Louisville and some of these penalties and how bad some of these penalties have been and how they've hurt them just as a football team, but especially offensively. To overcome it there, that's a big conversion. Nice run by Cooley.
Yeah, 14 yards. And Cooley, the true freshman and a North Carolina native. Back to throw, Cunningham throwing long. Looking for a man downfield, but well covered and incomplete. He wanted Shane Words, but he had 2 men with him.
Yeah, Nolan Turner able to run stride for stride with him, and you know, when Scott Satterfield told Kelsey at halftime that, you know, they were looking for some big plays, I think he generally was happy with much of his team's performance, but finding that big play, kind of be able to soften this Clemson defense a little bit. And, you know, I don't think that'll be the last one we see him call.
Cunningham by himself in the backfield here. Back to throw. Now flushed out of there. And fires that one complete. And a big gainer. Here's Harrell. Harrell with great speed. Finally taken down by Mario Goodrich. A flag is dropped on the play. Harrell runs a 4.1940 breakaway speed. That went for 57, but a flag dropped.
And I think we're going to end up getting a block maybe in the back after the catch. Harrell, by the way, how about the adjustment to the football?
During the run, illegal block in the back. Number 9, offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It will still be first down.
Yeah, see, Huggins Bruce is going to rally for his wide receiver and almost kind of gives it away too when he raises his hands afterwards. But it's a first down, and it's a nice play by Cunningham escaping. But then how about just the ability to adjust to the football by Tyler Harrell? You mentioned his speed, Dave. You know, the scouting report on him is not adjusting to the football and making a difficult catch. It is the speed that he has and how that threatens the defense. But that was an outstanding catch, and then obviously good run after.
You know, the penalty, they bring it all the way back to the 40-yard line, but as you mentioned, a first down. Cunningham handing off on the first down carry. Mickens with the stop, but a 6-yard pickup for Cooley.
And again, just continuing to get movement up front by the Louisville, you know, offensive line. You look at that. 5th straight game with over 200 yards rushing. And look, we had them last week. We have them this week. These are defenses that are hard to run the football on.
Yes, like Boston College, NC State. It's one of the things we talked about that was kind of surprising in the opening minutes of the game. They're kind of manhandling that front. And continue to do that, continue to move it and pick up another first down. Once again, Cunningham. There's a couple of touchdown runs, one for 23, one for 51 yards tonight.
I tell you, just being more physical. This ends up being almost like, you know, we see Wake Forest do, where you could give the ball to Cooley, and when he doesn't get it, he just turns into the lead blocker. And now all of a sudden you're running quarterback lead with a really talented runner, and you see Marshall mixing it up afterwards with Fred Davis.
Little scuffle there. Cunningham on the move again. Thought about throwing, heading out of bounds. Tried to.
Malik Cunningham,
Sliding down, pick up
carrier.
7. And we'll see if Malik is okay. He's in some pain. And as often as he runs the football, no surprise, an official timeout with Cunningham down.
And I couldn't tell if it ended up being his hip, because he kind of, he went, when he slid, he went down hard. But man, this would be a tough break for Louisville with Cunningham going down.
And we'll see when we come back.
Zaxby's, featuring fresh-made chicken tenders, wings, and salads.
Louisville quarterback Malik Cunningham now in the tent after he took a hit there. Looked like it was his left ankle. He headed into the tent, and they did cut off the wrap that they have on that ankle. Lots of guys have it on the outside of their cleat. Malik Cunningham did. So we'll see, guys, how he is. Evan Conley warming up for them, and now going to go ahead and go into the game. But this is a quarterback that's taken a lot of hits, Malik Cunningham, for them, and we'll see if he's able to battle back from this one.
So Evan Conley, the 6'2", 250-pound, 15-pound sophomore, in there to run the offense, at least for now.
Cooley, the ball
Out of Marietta, Georgia. And taking over to run things now for the Cardinals, but obviously a huge loss if Cunningham cannot continue. He has been the brightest star in the field tonight.
He has, and Conley's not the same type of runner. However, we did see him, Dave, come in a game against Wake Forest in 2019 as a freshman, and he was outstanding in that game. He was 12 of 18 for nearly 200 yards, threw 2 touchdowns, and he also had a rushing touchdown on a critical 4th down play. So he does have the ability to be a runner and a threat with the football as a carrier, but not the same type of runner as Cunningham.
Just picked up a 1st down. He's going to step up and try and run it, but a short gain. As he is tied up by the Tigers and Xavier Thomas. And a row.
Conley's an interesting one. He was originally committed to App State. Scott Satterfield was the coach there, and then flipped and decided to come to Louisville. And I think he's been, you know, because of the way they run Cunningham, and like I've referenced that Wake Forest game, it's nice to have a player that has experience step into the lineup.
And has a reputation for being steady in spots like this. Cooley, the running back, and trying to take that right side, but Henry read it. The defensive end, they're going to lose a yard.
Yeah, Henry did read it and gets amazing penetration. It's wild when you look at the front for Clemson, and you know, we've seen them get pushed around tonight, but the talent up front, even with the injuries that they've sustained this year, just so good and so disruptive, and you know, have the ability to kind of wreck football games for opposing offenses.
3rd and 11. Evan Conley at the quarterback spot. And throwing short and incomplete. And intended for Jordan Watkins, but didn't get it to him. And so what do you do now on 4th down and 11? It would be a 51-yard field goal attempt.
And it looks like they're going to give it a try. And I think it was maybe one of the reasons we saw that play call. It was a wide receiver kind of jailbreak screen, and Conley just missed it. I think they maybe were going to be content with picking up 5 and just making it an easier field goal attempt.
Officially 52 yards here. James Turner, his career long is 50. Trying to top that right now. Turner from 52 and hooked it left. So nothing doing here. 2:33 to go in the FSU women's soccer and Wake Forest men's soccer. You'll get unprecedented access into the lives of student athletes, coaches, and staff, as well as parents and fans. 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the ACC network. Cunningham has emerged from the tent. Whether or not he can continue, we'll wait and see. But Tim, 138 yards on 14 carries, 2 touchdowns for him. Uiagalelei to the sideline and complete. And got that one free. And a 7-yard gain.
You know, and it's interesting with DJ, and you see him escape the pocket. Looks like he still maybe isn't comfortable to take off and run. Does a nice job of finding Williams.
Shipley trying to power ahead, but he gets stacked up at the 40. Back one play ago on the throw.
I mean about DJ, so he's in the pocket, he's escaping, but you know, it doesn't look like there's a ton of confidence to really take off and run. And it's a bad feeling as a quarterback to kind of feel like you're limited that way, but obviously does a nice job of getting that ball out.
E.J. Williams with that catch. 3rd down 4. Clemson quarterback to throw and complete. And stuck that one on target to Ngata. Superior talent, but a guy who's been in and out of the lineup, Tim.
And the injuries to Ngata have kind of, I think, probably stunted his development. But he is so talented, as you said, Dave. And I mean, the size. I mean, 6'3", 220. Runs a corner there. And it's a good job of DJ of just sticking the football right on him.
1st and 10. Tigers moving the football. Shipley in the backfield. Uiagalelei, guy came out of that medical tent and led Clemson to a touchdown. Once again to the center of the line on the carry. It was Shipley, and just a 1-yard gain. Last seconds of the 3rd quarter. Again, Louisville trying to do something they've never done before in 6 tries, and that is beat the Tigers. Wasn't that long ago, it was one of the great games of the year in college football, and these guys met.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And quarterbacks that were so fun to watch on both sides.
DJ. They popped that throw up and out of bounds. And the pressure on the play. And Diaby's had another good night at the defensive end for the Cardinals.
He really has. So active, and DJ, I think, got fooled by the coverage, worked to the boundary, and probably should have worked to the field, and he ends up getting stuck with the football. And if you get stuck holding it for too long, Diaby, because he's got legit pass rush moves, able to get home.
6'4", 255. You're going to feel him coming. 3rd down and 9. 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Uiagalelei rifles this one, and it is incomplete. And Ngata came up lame on that play. Couldn't really finish the route.
No, and I mean, you know, it looked like he maybe was hobbling on his initial release and looked like a back shoulder throw that was off target, but Ngata didn't have the ability to adjust to, because clearly something bothering him.
So Spires on to punt. And Watkins back for the Cardinals. 7 seconds to go here in the 3rd. And a flag is dropped.
Blame game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down. Gotcha.
We got you too.
Gotcha. So Spires will back up a bit. And trying to pin Louisville back. And a 24-17 lead for the Cardinals. Here on a chilly night in Louisville, Kentucky. Watkins with her catch at the 10-yard line. And that's the end of the 3rd. A 37-yard kick. Cunningham warming up, looking like a man who is getting ready to return for Louisville. That is the end of the 3rd. 24-17. The Cardinals about to get Cunningham back. Quarter here at Louisville Cardinal Stadium, our ACC Network primetime game. And the Cardinals with a 24-17 lead on the Clemson Tigers. And Evan Conley is going to remain in at the quarterback for Louisville. Handing off for Cooley. Let's go down for more on Malik. Here's Kelsey.
Well, guys, you saw Malik Cunningham go into the athletic training tent. He did get his ankle retaped, came out, and as you saw there, was trying to throw. But when he came out with a grimace on his face, and he looked at head athletic trainer Matt Summers and was shaking his head, shaking his head. He went over to Conley and gave him a high five, said it's his drive now.
Conley's pass is batted right back at him by Miles Murphy, the 6'5", 275-pounder. So is that it for him tonight?
Well, I mean, it appeared to be because he came out and he tried to test his ankle by running, and then as he was throwing, I saw him shake his head a number of times like, no, I don't think I can.
Yeah, guys, one of the things that looked like he was saying was just cutting and trying to push off. He doesn't feel like he's confident in that ankle right now because of the injury. And it is an ankle injury that he's kind of been beat up on the last couple of weeks.
3rd down 7. Conley rolling right on the move and fires it up there. And it was caught out of bounds by Clemson. And so that'll bring up 4th down.
It looks like Sheridan Jones's left foot is out of bounds when he catches that football. I think Scott Satterfield looked at Conley afterwards and was like, look.
Shift. Offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Flag on the play and decline.
Like, look, if you're going to throw it away, like, go ahead and throw it away. Like, less adventure,
yes,
you know, on the throwaway, please.
Just inches from being an interception. Just underway here in the 4th. So it apparently is Conley's gig for the rest of the night. We shall see if that holds up. But now the Cardinals to punt.
And Dave, if that's the case, you know, the lack of the threat of the quarterback run is going to changes the dynamic of the offense. And so now they've got to find a new way to attack this Clemson defense.
O'Brien around midfield. And they'll take a bounce and keep on rolling in the Cardinals' favor. But good field position here for Clemson, a 44-yard kick. And Malik Cunningham looks to be heading to the locker room.
You go back and look at the miscues. Think back to the Will Brown muffed punt that was, you know, an issue that led to the rushing touchdown from Cunningham, and then the 4th down stop, the turnover on downs. Outstanding effort by the Louisville defense, but obviously not good enough by Clemson offensively, and really been the difference in the football game.
First down 10. And Shipley breaking away following a blocker. And a big gain and a huge first down here for the Tigers as he runs for 22 yards.
Yeah, it was really well blocked and good patience by Shipley. Dabo told us that it felt like Shipley gets better as the game goes along. I think maybe he just gets more comfortable. He is a young player, and so seeing the holes and having a little bit more patience, I think that was a great example of it on that run.
A win tonight, and the Tigers become bowl eligible, seeking a 17th consecutive bowl appearance. Incomplete and intended for Beaux Collins. We called his name several times. Big plays tonight, but not here.
No, and these are the throws that I think just make you scratch your head. You see the great throws and the really nice plays and the big arm. But then you see plays like that and you think, we're just missing layups that can keep us on schedules and offense.
2nd down 10. Shipley again. Big hole opens up. And he can really take advantage, but a flag dropped 2 as Duncan came up with the stop. An 8-yard scamper. And holding against the Tigers.
I think they're going to get Ennis, 87, the tight end, for the hold. And here's Ennis right here, and they're just running kind of an outside stretch play, and as you know, the defender ducks inside, he hooks them, and it's essentially a tackle on Marvin Dallas.
So walks it back to the 45 of Louisville. 2nd down and long here for the Tigers. And a short pass and complete, but not a huge gain there. Complete to Ross for 6. Marvin Dallas again coming up and making the stop.
It's actually a great play by Dallas because Beaux Collins is trying to block him, and if he does, then I think Ross has got some momentum on that little inside wide receiver screen, and That leads to this this 3rd and 14, and it's just not the situation where Clemson has thrived this season in these known passing situations with DJ Uiagalelei as their quarterback.
Just 2 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 14. Uiagalelei with time. Walks up a bit, fires, incomplete. And once again, it's going to be Collins as he runs out of bounds. And a big play there for 22 and a first.
Huge play. Watch this. Collins is running a seam. And then when he doesn't get the ball, he almost stops. He's like, I'm going to stop. But he finds that hole. DJ sees him there and then delivers a strike. And I'm just getting a sense that we're seeing Collins maybe start to develop as the guy that can play in the slot. 5 for 94 tonight. That's an element that's been missing in their offense, and he's delivered in there so far.
Out of Los Angeles, California, Shipley blowing that shoulder in around the 20-yard line. Wound up losing a yard. It was great to see ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. He popped in the booth to say hello. Jim here in Louisville tonight. He's on a first-name basis with about 10 airline pilots.
When he said he only goes to games where they score lots of points, because he was at Wake UNC today, so he was expecting a lot of points tonight.
He's attended like 17 football games in 9 weeks. Shipley to the center and stacked up again. They've been working a lot here in the second half. C.J. Avery eventually with that stop, a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, Dorian Jones just hits it so hard that he misses him. He's in the hole with Shipley. Fortunately, he's got friends behind him to make the stop.
3rd and 9. Into the 4th quarter, Louisville with the 24-17 advantage. But the Tigers on the move. DJ throws, looking for the corner, and a catch is made, and it is a touchdown, or is he out? They're going to huddle on this. Collins, take a look at the end here.
You know, it's hard to tell from that angle, and how they call this is going to be interesting because they haven't said a word yet.
Did he catch some
of that
line?
But there's been no call on the field.
None.
Like, is it a touchdown? Is it an incomplete pass? Because before you can review it, you've got to know what the call is. And see, what's interesting is his toe's originally down, but I don't believe he's got possession. And then his foot, when his foot really comes down when he has possession, I think part of his right foot is going to be out of bounds. But Dave, there's been no, it's been called incomplete on the field.
He did.
Now they're looking at it.
And taking a look at his feet there, and there you see that signal. Yes.
Not with a whole lot of emphasis on the signal there, but called incomplete. And I do think ultimately that probably will end up standing with the looks we've seen. What was interesting is that Takari Collins was running his route, but he was late looking back for the football. DJ waited on him forever and then decided to just kind of muscle it and fire it to him. Greedy Vance really was there and had an opportunity to pick that football off.
This is going to stand as an incompletion. So an incomplete pass, 10:23 to go here in the 4th. Now he's having a little trouble with his microphone tonight, but 24-17 Louisville. And Potter is coming on for the kick on 4th and 9. And this would be from 34 yards, so no touchdown here.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
So Clemson denied the end zone, but now Potter coming on. Out of character. He missed 3 field goals in their victory over FSU. He's been outstanding in his career. The senior out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. And again from 34 yards. And he will drill it. 24-20, tight one with a little over 10 minutes to go here at Louisville.
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
4-point game here with 10 minutes to go. 24-20 Louisville, and about to get the ball back. And we just saw Malik Cunningham emerge from his locker room and run back on to the gridiron. An ankle injury that he's been treated for, and it looked for all the world just a few minutes ago, Tim, he was done.
Well, he was shaking his head after leaving the field following that play. Ankle was bothering him, clearly injured, and told the trainers he wasn't able to go. And then next thing you know, here we go. Back from the locker room. His ankle taped up, and quite a fan reaction when they saw 3 running back out onto the field.
They love it. 138 yards for him on the ground tonight with 2 touchdowns. One of those 51 yards. Back to throw. Flushed out of there. On the move again and out of bounds.
Run by Malik Cunningham.
And picks up 3. Louisville outgained by Clemson 74-5 since the Cunningham.
And I think Scott Satterfield probably looking at it like, okay, got Evan Conley now. What's my menu of plays for Evan Conley? Like, oh wait, 3's coming back out? Okay, give me that old call sheet back.
Under 10 minutes to go, 2nd down 8. Dumps this one off short. It'll be Cooley, and he's spun around. And Goodrich with the tackle, a 5-yard pickup.
It's a pretty good tackle by Goodrich, because Cooley, we've seen, is tough to bring down. It's a corner in the open field. You want a really talented running back. Good job getting him down by Goodrich to force a third down. And you know, I said it earlier, these 3rd and kind of 4 or less, we've seen quarterback, you know, run as part of the option. Now it's an empty backfield. I guess the anticipation would be to put it in the air.
3rd and 3. Cunningham, he takes a pop, and down he goes at the 20. Great pressure, and the hit by Trenton Simpson. He's had a really fine night and a 12-yard loss.
Yeah, it really did. It almost looked like Cunningham was going to escape. Watch Simpson come and hit him. Cunningham gets away because Simpson didn't wrap up, and then Cunningham actually just kind of trips on his own feet after that. Otherwise, there could have been an opportunity to maybe pick up that 3rd down. But again, you said it, Dave, he's having a good night. Trenton Simpson, you know, when I've watched Clemson, it just seems like his athleticism and speed has really shown up on that side of the ball.
So Bassett to punt, and a fair catch. And again, good field position here for the time.
We have a QB duel, and there's that stiff arm again. It's so tough to stop. Watson fires back. Pop pass. Got it. To keep hope alive. Fight, spins out of bounds. Did not get there. Came up a yard short.
What a classic there. October 1st, 2016. Clemson would win it 42-36, but that vaulted Deshaun Watson to the top of the Heisman list.
Oh, I mean, just looking back at that and seeing the quarterbacks playing in that game, and just, you know, really where Louisville was at that point with Lamar Jackson as their quarterback.
1st down and 10. Uiagalelei complete to Collins as he will pull ahead and picks up a 1st down. Cole, the strong safety, will stop him, but under 8 minutes to go and a 4-point lead for Louisville. And we'll see you in the end.
For an injured player.
Becomes the biggest star in this one. And Chandler Jones is down right now. That means we will take the break because of the injury. Fourth quarter, 7:51 to go. Well, a good sign there is Chandler Jones able to walk off, actually trot off. The junior from Miami, who was down a moment ago before the break.
And you think about the injuries, obviously Trey Clark out, who had a great week last week before getting injured, and so now getting fairly thin in the secondary for Louisville.
Boumerjean is in there and back to throw. Wants to put it in the air, throwing it long but incomplete. And there is a flag down. A flag on the play intended for Justin Ross. Grady Vance was with him. It certainly looks like interference here.
Interference. Number 21, defense. 15-yard penalty and an automatic. First down.
And what's interesting is that initial jab to the chest is not what they called, I don't believe. That right there, you're way down the field, but you know, Ross is just kind of leaning on Vance as well. And when it looks like that, they're going to favor the offense, but to be honest, I didn't love that call.
Uiagalelei back in there, quarterback with a handoff. And it was Will Shipley for 1 yard. And Shipley maybe nicked up again. Indeed he is. And lost a shoe. So he has to come off.
It's been a wild night for him. I mean, the on and off, shoes coming off. Then you return a kick. You leave the game, getting evaluated for an injury. And
yeah, had a spectacular kick return. Not long after returning. Uiagalelei on the roll and out of bounds. And good pressure on the play from Louisville.
It's been a nice job so far on Louisville defensively. Put Boumerjean in at quarterback, and you know, maybe thinking that Louisville's going to sell out to stop the run. They defend the pass and they get a call, but then next thing you know, do a good job of rallying on first and second down to force a third and long.
Can Uiagalelei deliver here on 3rd down and 9? Just under 7 minutes to play. They'll rifle that pass and complete. It's Ross fighting on the sideline, battling with Grady Vance. Catch number 5 tonight for Justin Ross.
It's just a quick out, and these are the throws that Clemson goes to get DJ in a rhythm. The quick game with the quick out, and what's, you know, you mentioned fighting, Dave, and that's exactly what Justin Ross did, because they were going to come up short, and that was going to be an interesting decision for Clemson, but Justin Ross able to muscle it past the yard marker.
Yeah, 15 yards. Trying to keep it on the ground with Maffa. Was he down? He got right back up. He was on top of the defender and made more out of that. Abdullah finally with the tackle and a man down.
Way on the field as the runner was knocked down. Officials timeout for injured player.
6-yard gain. And we've seen that more in the last few weeks than I can ever remember. Another injured player down here for Louisville. We'll have more coming up in a moment. Coming off here, and the real heroes of this one might be the trainers.
They have earned their money tonight.
And Cunningham on the bike trying to stay warm on a chilly night. And Clemson trying to run the football again, staying on the ground with Shipley. He'll pick up 2. And we'll bring up 3rd down and 2. And a running clock with 5:45 to go.
It almost looked like some confusion as well with the personnel that's healthy.
Uiagalelei will keep it and straight ahead as he powers forward before he is stacked up picking up a first.
Yeah, and that's quarterback power with a little misdirection window dressing on the jet sweep. You've got a 250-pound quarterback, banged up knee and all. just able to fall forward. And that's an element of their offense that I do think they can rely on a little bit more than they do.
So 1st and goal, Collins in motion. And Shipley trying to scamper inside. On the ground game, he'll pick up 2. And they get it to the 8-yard line under 5 minutes to go as Clemson tries to punch it in and grab the lead here late in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and let's remember, last time we saw Clemson down inside the 10, they had an opportunity to punch it in and try to muscle it in, and it was Louisville's defense that rose to the occasion.
Ninth play of the drive coming up. 2nd and goal. It's about to be delayed game. Yeah, they take a timeout.
30-second timeout.
Came close to delay of game there. So 2nd and goal approaching here with 4:17 to go. And the game started with both offenses, Tim, really firing out of the gate. We had a couple of quick touchdowns. We were thinking maybe this would be Wake Forest and North Carolina, but it settled in more along the lines of what we anticipated.
It did, and we've had plenty of drama. We've had quarterbacks leave the game because of injury, come back in, play well when they've come back in. And, you know, I think we've seen the teams kind of trying to rely on the things that they know they can count on. For Clemson, it's certainly been the running game. And, you know, and I think for Louisville, it's been about trying to get the ball back into Malik Cunningham's hands to create plays. But we're about to see a big finish here down inside the 10-yard line. You know, can the Louisville defense rise to the occasion like we saw them do mid-3rd quarter when they came up with that big stop?
Yeah, an electrifying stop right at the 1-yard line to prevent DJ and the Tigers from getting in then. Shipley back into the running back. And the football at the 8-yard line, 2nd and goal. Uiagalelei takes the snap, on the move, heading into the end zone, and man, was that ever easy. He's in for the touchdown. Untouched.
You can see why it can be an element of their offense that they do more of. Because yes, when you block it correctly, get an opportunity for that. And what a gutty performance by DJ Uiagalelei. Comes out of the game, re-enters it with that big knee brace on, and call a run down near the goal line, is able to punch it in.
And no one got near him. Potter sticking the extra point to make it 27-24 Clemson.
Well, they're just going to lead up through there with Potter and Allen, and see DJ obviously in some discomfort. That's a really good job. It's an excellent job of blocking by Shipley on the perimeter. Good play calling as well by Tony Elliott. Even feeling comfortable to go back to that with your banged up quarterback.
So the drive taking just about 4 minutes. 9 plays, 57 yards, capped by an 8-yard touchdown run by the Clemson quarterback, and they are in front by 3 with about 4 minutes to play.
And with this type of time, there's no need to panic if you're Louisville. You have everything at your disposal.
Scoreboard reflect that Clemson has used 1 timeout and have 2 remaining.
And that's exactly what we have. And the Cardinals with 3. 4:12 to go. And the Tigers to kick off. And Hall back there around the 2. Looking for an opening. And ahead to the 25. And Cunningham back to work with 4:06 showing.
But you see what's happened since he was injured and came out of the game, the yards and the points. It has absolutely been one-sided.
Scoreboard reflect that Clemson has 2 timeouts remaining. Thank you.
I mean, it's been a struggle offensively for Louisville. Evan Conley wasn't able to get it done with his opportunities, and then Cunningham on his last drive, not able to get it done. And see if he can get into a rhythm now because they need it down 3.
Gonna hand off the football and right into the center of that line, Jalen Mitchell. Stacked up by Nolan Turner. And we'll pick up 3.
That's a really nice tackle by Nolan Turner. Turner was injured a bit to start the season, but a tough, physical, smart player, and it's a good job from the safety position to come up and make a play in the hole for just a 3-yard gain.
Mitchell, a hard-hitting freshman in his own right. Cunningham will have to step up and dance around. And finally goes spilling out of bounds, chased out by Jalen Phillips. And just a 1-yard gain despite all that activity. That clock continues to run down to 3:17.
Well, Andrew Makuba, who Brent Venables has raved about to us in terms of his ability, just showed why. The freshman from Austin, Texas, able to run down Malik Cunningham coming out of center field there. That was impressive.
3rd and 6. Cunningham out of the pocket, rifles that one, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for Marshawn Ford, but could not make the catch.
It would have been a spectacular catch because Ford is coming wide open in that window there, and Cunningham just throws it too far out in front of Ford.
So that brings up 4th down and 6. Less than 3 minutes to play. And does Malik have some magic here? Cunningham stepping up again on the move. And goes down on a knee and down there, and that was Makuba again.
That's exactly right. It was Makuba again, and Cunningham looked like he had some room to run on 4th and 6, and 2 plays in a row. It's Makuba. Just ends up being in the flat, and as Cunningham decides to escape, look, that's a lot of room to have a player of Cunningham's ability to get him down to the ground, and did a similar thing on the play prior. He was able to get him down, and look, going forward in that situation, you're still okay here with 3 timeouts if you're Louisville, if you can hold them to a field goal attempt and also save some clock by using your timeouts.
Well, turning it over on downs, Maffa with the carry.
Timeout, Louisville.
So Louisville will take one of those timeouts.
30-second timeout.
Scott Satterfield takes one here. And stops at 2:35 to go. 2nd down and 9 forthcoming.
Yeah, look, I think you could have gone either way when you go back to that 4th and 6, Dave. It is punt it, try to get a stop and use your timeouts, and obviously not turn the football over in an area where you're almost automatically conceding a field goal attempt. And then at that point, clearly easier to get a field goal than score a touchdown, but still needs to be some hope here for Louisville in that if you can get a stop, use your timeouts, force a field goal attempt, you're still going to get the football back, with roughly 2 minutes. And a chance.
Yeah, they're still breathing. Allen, the tight end, they put him in motion. Maffa with the carry, trying to get outside, but not much. And a stop by Turner. He'll gain 1 yard. So it'll be 3rd and long.
Louisville, their 2nd of the half. 30-second timeout.
And Louisville will take another timeout. So the Atlantic Division standings, as we mentioned earlier, Wake Forest losing for the first time today, but it does not count as a conference defeat. So they are still 5-0. NC State, another impressive win for the Wolfpack. They're 7-2 and 4-1 in the conference.
That's a balanced football team, and we mentioned earlier that Clemson's path to the Atlantic is they've got to win out. And so taking care of business here, the most critical thing, but also some tough stretches going forward as you look at, you know, next week's NC State Wake Forest. Obviously, that's a big one. And, you know, Clemson, another crack at Wake Forest as well. So a lot of football still to be played, but you need to take care of business if you're Clemson.
Tyson Pumachan back in there at the quarterback. He's gotten some work in tonight. On 3rd down and 8. The backup in running the offense for the Tigers. And he tucked it. And to the center, and Diaby there to say hello. Bringing up 4th down.
Their 3rd and final of the half. 30-second timeout.
So the Cardinals out of timeouts.
It's a great play by Diaby right here. Watch him just cut inside. Moff was supposed to get that block there and puts a big hit on Tyson Pumachan. And you know, so you concede the field goal attempt, obviously turning the football over here, and that's a nice job by the Louisville defense getting a stop. They obviously use their timeouts and can have an opportunity here with plenty of time.
Potter, as mentioned last week, he missed 3 field goals, very uncharacteristic in a game against Florida State.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier, Dave. He's had a fine career at Clemson. He's been perfect tonight, but last week was an adventure for sure.
He's made 2 tonight from 38 and 34. This would be from 40 yards for BT Potter, the senior. And it is up, and that one is good. He drills it to make it a 30-24 lead for the Tigers. 2:19 to go.
It's a good kick by BT Potter, and I think Dabo, after last week, maybe had some nerves for that one. That's a big kick, and it still has a 6-point game. Still life, and quite honestly, I mean, look, as a quarterback, clearly you would want your timeouts, but 2:19 with the clock stopping when you get 1st down, and you know, obviously on incompletions and getting the ball out of bounds, that's a lot of time, and plenty of time to get done what you need to get done. And you know, the challenge ends up being is offensively, since Cunningham was injured, they've got nothing going on offense for Louisville.
Hassan Hall back deep here for the Cardinals, down by 6. And Potter lays into that one for a touchback. So Cunningham, who's had a fascinating night. He's had a couple of touchdown runs. One of them just flat incredible from 51 yards into the end zone. 10 for 17 passing it. Got 126 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground for Malik Cunningham. And can he work some magic right now?
Well, and the challenge will end up being as well, can they protect? Because when you get into these situations, these are kind of the times of the game where you could see Miles Murphy trying to take over the football game.
Cunningham heaves it, long throw, it hangs up there, and the catch is made. A sensational grab. A great catch by Tyler Harrell, and a giant gainer.
Yeah, and again, it's Harrell with an adjustment to the football. You mentioned earlier his speed, Dave. This is an underthrown go route, and it is an outstanding reaction and adjustment to the football by Harrell.
45 yards. And on the ground, it's Mitchell. And tied up by Miles Murphy.
And I don't like the idea of running the football there, especially with a double A-gap mug from the linebackers. Because I'm throwing the football the rest of the way here. Inside 2 minutes, no timeouts left.
Clock running, 1:35 to go. Cunningham throws short and incomplete. Right through the hands of Jalen Mitchell. He had a catch to make.
He had a catch to make. He's probably going to pick up the first down, which will stop the clock. But they're running 4 verticals, all go, and then they just check it down to Mitchell, who is wide open, and that goes right through his hands.
So 3rd down and 10. Glenn Venables looking for the stop here with 1:32 on the clock. 3rd and 10 for Cunningham, backing up. Now on the run. Trying to get outside, and he does. Big scamper there, chased down by Turner. And where did he step out?
He's right near it. I see an official holding up his hand as if it's 4th down. I think he's just shy of it.
Just short, yes. Just short, 4th and 1. .124 to go. 30-24 Clemson. He's looking toward the end zone, fires, and on that sideline, a sensational catch. Well, Marshall said he caught it. They're huddling.
Yeah, they're still looking at it, but look at this. I mean, Marshall, it's a ridiculously good throw by Cunningham. Marshall catches it. His left foot is down.
Ruling on the field incomplete. They're going to take a look.
Well, they need to take a look because, I mean, Marshall catches this football. Left foot is down.
Oof.
And as you see him go to the ground, I mean, he catches that football and he's tucking it to his body, it appears to me. And there's no doubt that when he catches the football, the question to me is, does he complete the catch? So there's a catch, left foot down.
Is he in control? Has he completed the catch?
I mean, that ball never moves. I mean, it's like he's got it cupped in his right hand. That's a catch. It is a completion that's going to stop the clock at the 2-yard line. And so now,
You think he caught it?
I don't think there's any doubt that he caught it. And
what a catch if it turns out to be 19 yards. On a great throw from Cunningham.
I mean, a great throw from Cunningham. You know, I thought he was going to try to run it, and then and really I thought he had the first down, you know, on the scramble before that.
After further review, the receiver did get a foot down inbounds and maintain possession of the ball all the way to the ground. It's a catch. The ball be placed at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. The clock is correct. The receiver was knocked out of bounds, so the clock will start on the snap.
Wow. On the 2-yard line, 1st and goal.
Yeah, and time is not an issue for you whatsoever. In fact, you want to score a touchdown with as little time left on the clock for Clemson to have any chance to kick a field goal to win it.
Cunningham handing off. Mitchell trying to bounce outside, and he's dragged down by R.J. Mickens, the strong safety. And we are now under 1 minute. Malik Cunningham injured in the game a couple of different times. Trying to engineer a great comeback. Keeps it here, and they stack him up. He gets absolutely nothing. Pushed backward.
And it's Skalski, and now, you know, again, here's the deal. You have 40 seconds. You can't take too much time. The clock really shouldn't be an issue, but this
Clemson took one. Tigers take a timeout.
And listen, I kind of think the time for Clemson to take it would have been after first down. You know, at that point, just kind of protecting yourself a little bit. But after that run, you know, we're looking at 39 seconds. They're not at the line yet. I think that was almost creating a scenario where it was going to have to be a pass on third down because of the scenario, because you were going to need a stoppage in play if you didn't get it at that point.
Yes.
The idea of running it, then getting reorganized for another run, I'm not quite sure.
Of course, these couple of great catches have them knocking on the door. Sensational grabs and throws. Third down and goal. Louisville with no timeouts remaining. 39 seconds to play.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm thinking back to, you know, North Carolina playing Clemson. They try to run the option down in tight, and it gets stuffed. We've seen people try to do that, get, you know, to Clemson. I think now, because you're not far from where your creative two-point plays would be, I think now's the time to dial that up. Maybe a creative, a trick, something that you have designed for this scenario.
Cunningham on the move. He gets stuck and stopped. It's Mickens again, and that brings up 4th and goal.
Yeah, and this is going to be the final play of the game offensively for Louisville. You have plenty of time. You don't need to rush at the same time.
15 seconds. Cunningham rolling. He goes down. Clemson with the stop on the slip by Cunningham. He hits the deck. 10 seconds to go. 30-24 Tigers. And they have the football.
Dabo told us that the defense is playing at a championship level. And we just saw a championship level defensive stand by the Clemson Tigers.
No question about it. Our Bojangles Big Bone moment.
Well, there's no question that this is the Big Bone moment. They're going to roll out. They're basically running flat corner, and it gets covered up. They do an excellent job out here, which forces the switch outside, which is outstanding, and it forces Cunningham to run with the football. They're just not able to get the edge. You see what happened? They just passed the route off in the secondary.
And that's it. There's your final score. Clemson once again knocks off Louisville. The Cardinals have never defeated the Tigers. Clemson now 7-0 against them all time.
Incredible, and an incredible performance when they needed it the most by the Clemson defense. And great efforts by both quarterbacks to come back and play through some injuries.
And some huge moments for the offense. Let's go down to Kelsey